I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame, though it might be nice to own a jet.
Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Really sorry, I'm going to make a big apology now guys, because this is not car related, but I have been having a few PC related issues. So it is a PC related video, and with the attempts to make my relatively slow PC, don't mind the cat, sorry, relatively slow PC to be a bit quicker. So I'm going to just take you guys for a little tour of what's inside my PC and some specs on it, and also some things I've found out on the internet about it as far as potential upgrades are concerned. So like I said, bear with me guys. Car content is still the main focus of this channel, but as I've been having a real bit of a struggle uploading videos lately, I thought I need to check my PC out. And also I thought, you know what, I'll record it and put it on YouTube as well, because all my subscribers, you guys, lovely subscribers, thank you very much for being a subscriber. Value every one of you guys. You may or may not like the content, but if it's not there, how do we know, sort of thing. So we'll get cracking with taking this PC apart and having a look at it then, shall we? So just a little bit of an inside. It's got DVD rewriter drive in there. It's got USB 3 on the front, memory card reader. It came to me with Intel iCore 3 processor. It's still standard, by the way, before anyone thinks I've changed it already. I haven't touched it from where I bought it brand new from factory. HP Pavilion. It is the 500 PC series, and I've done a little bit of a specs list. It has up to 3.5 gigahertz. Excuse my dodgy writing, guys. It's got the Intel Core i3 4150 processor, CPU cores 2 dual core processor with a cache of 3 meg. TDP 54W, I don't really know what that means, and socket LGA, that's obviously the type of socket. It came with DDR3 8 gig RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, and 180 watt power supply. It can be upgraded to a 16 gig possible. So let's open it up and have a look inside. So guys, taking a look inside the case, we've got measly little 180 watt power supply. I built a PC a good few years ago and put a 300 watt power supply in, and then I built so many optical drives in, and I put like 4 hard drives in and all sorts, and I ended up having to upgrade it to a 500 watt power supply because it wasn't coping. So I'm thinking straight away my computer may be a little bit on the restricted side. So that is a bit dirty, but I'm going to have that out. I've got another power supply, which I'm going to chuck in. I'm not entirely sure what wattage it is. I think it's like 305 or something, but giving the computer a bit more power should hopefully give it a bit of a boost. It's got the, let me just turn the camera around so you can see better. It's got the IPM87-MP motherboard. Now, what that means is, like I said, it's got the i3 processor in it. I have been on the website, and based on my motherboard specs, I can have any number of these as a potential upgrade. So I'm going to be looking into potential upgrade with the Core i5. I haven't got the money for an i7. I haven't even got the money for an i5 at the moment, but we will be upgrading it to an i5. We've got all this. This is basically the specs of the motherboard. It can take up to a maximum of 16 gig on a 64-bit operating system. That's fine because I'm running an operating 60. Now this PC as well, it come to me with Windows 8 on it. It was working fantastic when I first got it, but obviously through age and usage, it was slowing down. So there's me thinking, I know what I'll do. I will restore it back to factory settings. But the problem is, even restoring it back to factory settings didn't make it much of a difference. So it's a case of I've decided I'm going to go through it and make sure everything's clean, because as you can see the fan's a little bit dirty, but not too scary looking. I was expecting it to be a lot worse, to be fair. And looking down in the fins, there's a little bit dust hiding down in that corner, but again, nothing too scary, but I'll give it a clean anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and I'll get back, bring you guys back in. So guys, I'm back. What have I done? I have removed, as you can see there, just the CPU core. There was some thermal compound on there. I've got a little disclaimer though, and the little disclaimer is, don't remove this ever. Only remove the fan. Don't remove this ever unless you do have the appropriate cleaning swabs and thermal grease to put back on, because you can't just put that straight onto the processor without having a thermal compound between. Now, fair enough, this may or may not be PC grade, because it was bought for a PS3 red light of death problem, which I never got round to doing. But thermal grease for a PS3 I'm sure will be okay for my PC, because them PS3s used to get pretty hot. Because in this kit I got two of these thermal greases, one for the CPU and one for the GPU. I also got two copper shims to help dissipate heat even more, and the screwdriver and everything, and liquid flux. And the idea was, with the PS3 you'd heat the board up and you'd hear it pop and cackle, because I've done it a few times, and then afterwards it'd be right as rain. But the last PS3 I was supposed to do never actually got the job done, but I've done a few before, and if I do get a PS3 where I need to do that job, I might show you guys, depends how interested you are on that subject. But for now, I'm going to use this thermal grease for my processor, and I have blown this all out with some air. It wasn't particularly dirty to start with anyway, but it's all nice and clean now, as you guys can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the thermal grease on, because it's a bit awkward to work thingy. Actually, before I do, I've also unscrewed all the screws for this power supply, because this is only a 180 watt power supply, and I'm going to take, no I'm not, there's a cable tie there, bear me a second guys. So cable tie gone, wires are loose, screws are out. Let's just, how does this come out? Oh okay, I've got to, no idea. It's got a clip down the bottom there. It would have, wouldn't it? There we go. So that comes out like so. Because like I said, on a previous PC, well actually this is the previous PC build, many years ago. All those optical drives, look. It's got a 250 gigabyte hard drive, Pentium 4 processor, 512 mega RAM, a couple of SATAs. It was a fantastic machine for its time, and it's running Windows XP. I have no idea if it works. I haven't used it for years, to be fair. But obviously with all these wires disconnected, it's not going to work now, and I've just nicked the power supply from it. So that's the power supply, as you can kind of imagine. It's going in here. This is going to be, it is a 300 watt power supply, but like I said, I originally had a 150 watt when I was building the PC, or something like that. I knew it was a lot less than this one was, and with the optical drives and everything, I couldn't run it, so I had to put and that's all I'm thinking. Now I'm asking this computer to do more and run higher processors. I'm thinking that 180 watt power supply isn't man enough to give the processor the power it needs. So I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to put some thermal compound on and put that back on, and then I'll show you guys the end result. So guys, 300 watt power supply fitted, 180 watt power supply removed, CPU fan, CPU heatsink and the CPU itself all completely cleaned thoroughly, and I may have used too much, but I've used both of these up. There's definitely enough thermal compound on there. There's definitely a nice seat between the heatsink and the processor. So and I've put another cable tie on there just to hold the new power supplies, well, old replacement power supply, because it's old, but it works. Like I said, that PC, if I'd have not touched it today, I'd have probably been able to plug it in and it'd have loaded up with my previous Windows XP. I just haven't had the need to use it. So but yeah, so we'll get this put back on my desk next to the guinea pig cage and stuff, and we'll get it powered up and hopefully it don't go bang. So we're on, guys. We're at the starting point of it actually working, so I haven't made it go bang. That's a good point, I suppose. I've done something right. And just like that, we've gone from Linux Mint to Windows 8.1. 8 gig RAM, CPU is iCore 3, like I said, 3.5 gigahertz dual core processor, 64-bit operating system, and the Linux Mint that you saw a second ago was also 64-bit. So far so good. It seems to be working all right. We'll see how it goes, guys. So guys, I've just done a test edit piece and literally just clicked export, and normally this figure would not be at 6% right now. Look how quick that's going. It would normally be, I've literally just done it, and this would normally take me about 3 hours just to get to 100%. I'm literally going to look at the time, and the time now here is 11:13, going by the computer time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you guys back when that gets to 100%, so I'm not wasting your time, but remember the time, 11:13. Yes, my CPU is still running at 98, 97%, which is what it always does when I'm doing the export, but just in this talking already 13%. That's surprising, to be honest. But yeah, like I said, 11:13 is the time. I'll bring you back when it's 100%, and so far so good. Just a little update, guys. I am now 7 minutes in to my 8 minutes into my export, because that's just changed over. I'm running at 3.43 gigahertz speed, using 96% of my CPU, 92, 98, as you can see the low figures. Ignore that uptime because I did load Task Manager before loading my editing program Shotcut, and I'm already at 72%, 73%. So that's 8 minutes in and I'm already 3/4 of the way through. I'm well impressed because, like I said, 8 minutes in, I'd be normally at 8 minutes in, I'd be at about 2%. Under my normal circumstances. So literally just changing the power supply and giving it a clean with some new thermal compounds, I think has worked wonders. So guys, we're 12 minutes in. 12 minutes in. My processor's calmed down a bit. It's gone down to 4%. Running at 3.43. And the reason that's slowed down is because we have hit with the little green tick. What that means is it has taken 12 minutes and 39 seconds to complete my export. And what that is, basically, that's taken 12 minutes and 39 seconds to go from raw multiple files to a final edit ready to go up on YouTube. So that is amazing as far as I'm concerned. That used to take easily 3 hours plus. So I think I'm quite happy with the results for that. I haven't tried uploading to YouTube yet, but this won't, as you can see, I've labelled this file test because I've used previous raw files to make a test subject, and it's a 25-minute long video now, just out of random files. I didn't pay attention to what I put on there because it is just a test subject, and that has just taken 12 minutes 39 seconds to complete a 25-minute clip, which I would put on YouTube, but this ain't going on YouTube because basically it's a case of it is a test file. So guys, before I conclude this video and end it here, I would like to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope the content was enjoyable. I know it's not my normal car related content. A little bit of a backstory though behind this PC is it came from the factory with Windows 8. It's been upgraded to Windows 8.1. When I was noticing issues with my processor speed, and I've been asking the PC to do a lot more processors with the edits and stuff, I found it was running slow. So first thing I done was restore it back to factory settings. Didn't work. I then got a lovely friend of mine, she's also on YouTube, because she's decided she wants to show off what she can do as well, and you guys can take a look if you want. It's Hannah, the C5 nut, but she basically prompted me with Linux. So I tried downloading, as you saw on the clip, Linux Mint, and it didn't really seem to make that much of a difference. And to be fair, I don't actually know how to use Linux, so I need to learn a lot more about that before I start actually delving into the depths of using it, because it looks like a half decent operating system. I can't vouch for how good it is because I've not really used it, but I will be having a play in my own time and hopefully, fingers crossed, transitioning over to Linux because it's a free software and everyone likes something for free. So what was happening before I done this video? Well, I'm now idling, my PC's now idling at 2%. That is fantastic news because my CPU was always idling at around 20-25%. So the CPU was always doing something even when I wasn't doing anything. So I've no idea whether that's got anything to do with what I've done today, but literally yesterday it was idling at 22-25%. Now it's running at 2%. So fantastic news. So what have I done? Basically, I have upgraded the power supply and stolen that from an old PC to a 300 watt power supply. So if my suspicions are correct, the power supply wasn't really man enough to cope with the extra processor speeds I needed. So by putting a bigger power supply in and a more powerful power supply in, that has hopefully, fingers crossed, only time will tell, but made it better. I've also cleaned all the, because the thermal compound that was on that CPU was really, what's the word, really broken down and like worn out and old and didn't look like it was really doing much. So by putting a fresh lot of thermal compound on and cleaning all the fins out, which there wasn't much dirt in there anyway to be fair, but cleaning all that out obviously has helped as well. So amazing result for that one. Thank you for the tip, Hannah. So content will resume back to being normal car content. Also at the start of this clip I said about changing where I changed my 300 watt power supply to a 500 watt power supply in my PC build years ago, and then I went back on afterwards about saying it from 300 to 150. I've actually remembered now I did change it to a 300 watt power supply, from a 300 watt power supply to a 500. My 500 died, no idea why, so I put the 300 back in, and that's what actually happened, because my brain just went and forgot about it. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to know any more about what I get up to on my channel, this is not normal content unfortunately guys, but if you want to know any more about what I get up onto my channel, chuck us a comment down below. I hope you liked it. If not, I'm sorry, but Like I said, car content will be resumed in the next video anyway. And yeah, so if this is something if you want to keep following me on my YouTube channel of what I get up to, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Your subscription helps me immensely, and if you ring the bell icon, you'll get notified of all my uploads on what I do on here as well. So all I'm going to say now is I'm going to bid you farewell, and I'll say bye for now, guys. See you in the next video.